Hi class, I wanted to make another anecdote video, this one for the, the week 5 content. First off, I wanted to start off with IT stakeholders. And I wanted to make the point that basically everybody, every human, and everything, every animal in the world is a stakeholder in every IT system. Given how interconnected the world is, every choice that you make about IT, every system that gets deployed, has knock-on effects through climate change and through a variety of other factors to all of the different organisms all over the world. Some of those impacts may not be as great as they are on other individuals or other species, but because of how interconnected everything is, I just wanted to make the point that there is a wide array of stakeholders, and the choices that people make and the actions that corporations take affect all those different stakeholders. So the second thing I want to talk about is substitution effects. And this is particularly relevant with regard to AI because typically computational systems have been seen as substituting for a variety of things, but typically things like office supplies. So a computer might replace some number of pieces of paper that would be used for sending letters or something like that. But more and more AI is starting to substitute for people rather than for things like office supplies or horse labor. A year or so ago, we wrote a paper, and I just want to read you some of the findings from that. It said, our findings reveal that AI systems emit between 1,300 and 1,500 times less CO2 per page of text generated compared to human writers, while AI illustration systems emit between 310 and 2,900 times less CO2 per image than their human counterparts. Ultimately, the point we were making is that if you were going to have a direct replacement of human doing something and then switch it over to AI doing something, the AI uses less energy than the human does to do that. This is controversial because it will not always be a direct substitution. Usually, in fact, it isn't. That rather than it being person A does not write a piece of paper or does not write a page of text and AI then does write a page of text. Instead, it is more that person A works with AI to write multiple pages of text. And so usually economic factors are really influential in these set of topics. But if there were ever a straight substitution, AI is able to do things with less energetic impact, at least according to this paper, than humans are. I also wanted to talk a bit about cryptocurrency. So a couple of years ago, Don Patterson, who you may remember from the How Do We Make These AI videos, he and I did a project on trying to make a more sustainable cryptocurrency. It was based on the idea of proof of location rather than proof of work or proof of stake, which are the systems that Bitcoin and Ethereum use. And it had some of the characteristics of a universal basic income. And so I just wanted to mention that if you're interested in that set of topics, you can check it out. We had a paper in the ACM DLT journal. The project was called Xylem, Xylem. And the last thing I wanted to do was to talk about LLMs. That's one of the other topics for this week. I've been doing quite a bit of research on LLMs recently, and one of the things I've been thinking a lot about recently has been the idea of the apex collaborator. The idea that AI systems are better than humans at many different kinds of things. They're better than humans at doing math. They're getting better than humans at certain kinds of writing and certain kinds of illustrating. They're better than humans at predicting the future. One thing they are not yet better than humans at, though, is forming social relationships. But I think that is something that AI can get better at. And in fact, I think there is no reason why, at least in my mind, that AI couldn't eventually be better at remembering and forming relationships with people than people are themselves, in terms of having long-term memory, in terms of having models of emotion and forms of resonance. And so not too long ago, a couple of my collaborators and I wrote a paper on this topic about what we're calling AI as apex collaborator. So basically, and I'll just read this, a computational system with capabilities for cooperation and partnership that are superior, at least in some ways, to those of humans. And this, I think, is interesting because cooperation is part of what has made humans so successful, is part of what has allowed us to spread all around the world and to succeed in many different kinds of ecosystems is our ability to collaborate. And if AI systems develop an ability to collaborate like that, would they be able to work with us more effectively and potentially even work with us to help figure out how to make the world more sustainable? So that right now is one of the things I'm working on, trying to build a social AI that is able to work with people to make the world a more sustainable place. All right, that's the end of the anecdotes for this week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.